Immerhin noch im Spiel.
Ja, kleiner technisch. Vielleicht ist es heute ein bisschen kürzer und
Guter Frimpong oder vielleicht sogar noch ein Ticken offensiver Nathan Teller. Das ist Havertz gegen Tah. Schauen Sie mal, wie der auch körperlich mithalten kann. Das wird mir immer viel zu sehr stabil geworden. Oh, schöner Ball, Granit Xhaka. Das ist ja inzwischen ein Running Gag geworden. Wie das, der dann den Ball verliert. Jorginho. Boah. Ja, nicht ganz unriss.
die Tiefe und geben dem Gegner keinen Raum.
So, und jetzt mal Adli, Gabriel und da ist Nathan Teller. Modifizierung erleben. Dem Teller ist ja auf.
Jakub Kiwior keeps his place. Demand's team is a settled one. Donnarumma was key at Villa Park in the quarter-final, as were goal scorers Achraf Hakimi. Midfield is set in stone. Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz, and in attack with Kvaratskhelia and Dembele, who scored 24 goals. What a game on the way tonight, Gary. Can Paris Saint-Germain turn it on like they did against Liverpool and Villa?
Well, their away record to Premier League team not been particularly good. Certainly against Liverpool, they showed their quality, and this team is a maturing team, a young, vibrant team.
Yes, indeed, it was a night that will last longer in the minds and the hearts of PSG fans, taking that result back to Paris Saint-Germain come next week. A 1-0 lead over Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium. The UEFA Champions League semi-final first leg between both teams at the Emirates Stadium last night. Quartzman Dembele 4-minute strike made a difference in that game. I am Emmanuel Fashimi, welcoming you to the program Citizen Sports. Yes, indeed. Like I said, it was a big night for PSG. We'll be looking at all of these as the show progresses. But let's begin from the home front, and we'll start with the Nigerian National League. That is NNL, where they have officially expelled 1472 Football Club of Lagos from the 2024-2025 season following repeated violation of league regulations. According to the NNL, 1472 FC failed to comply with Article 14.11 of the league's codified rules, which stipulates penalties for clubs that failed to honor fixtures. The club was found guilty of not showing up for 3 staggered matches in Conference A, promoting the league to invoke the relevant disciplinary provision. Other matches, 1472 of Lagos failed to honor between Abia Comets FC and Dakade FC of Uyo. In addition to the expulsion, 1472 FC has been slammed with a fine of 5 million naira for failing to honor match 15, the third instance of default. NNL Chief Operating Officer Dan Lami Alana expressed disappointment in the club's conduct. Speaking to NNL media, he said it is an embarrassing situation. Their action is simply a breach of the rule book, and we have to apply the rules to the letter. It is unfortunate that despite several warnings, 1472 just wouldn't heed. We must avoid any action that would drag the NNL into the mud. Following the ruling on matches involving 1472 FC, whether already played or yet to be played, have been annulled. Points previously awarded for or against the club have been cancelled, with changes reflected in the updated NNL Conference A table effective from March day 16. The disciplinary action serves as a stern reminder of the league's commitment to upholding professionalism and integrity within Nigerian football. 1472 of Lagos did not do well. All right, still on the home front, the National Sports Commission, NSC, has charged the Secretary Generals of various sports federations to have an innovative approach towards the discharge of their duties for an effective sports development goal. The Director General of the NSC, Honorable Bukola Olakpade, gave the charge when he held a strategic meeting with all the various secretaries of the National Sports Federation that was on Tuesday in Abuja. Yes, according to the DG, he said, I must first of all say to you all that that contrary to what is being perceived out there before myself and the chairman, Malam Shehu Diko, came on board, I am shocked, surprised, and very impressed with professional qualities of all of you. You all are some of the best sports brains we have in this country, and we are proud to have you aboard. As we know, there's always room for improvement, and that is why I have called for this meeting to spur you for bigger challenges. An innovative mind is very vital for growth. Therefore, I am challenging your intelligent minds to look inwards and come up with concepts that will enhance our output and the qualities of the Federation. I am pathological optimist, and I believe you can do more and be more creative and dynamic by thinking out of the box. You all might have known by now that I have an open door policy where every secretary can walk into my office and discuss the way forward for his or her federation. The DG also emphasized the commission's reset, refocus, and relaunch mandate to the secretaries and the need for them to apply it in the organization promotion of their activities, especially as it regards the image of the country's athletes at international competition. The DG also stated that the welfareism of Nigerian athletes is of utmost importance to the commissions, and that is why we established the Elite and Podium Board, which have started seeing their work in the area of grading our top athletes for different categories of training grants, and it is therefore important for the various secretary generals to know that the way we fly and dress our athletes for international competition is also very important in high performance. All our top athletes in category A of the Podium Board rankings will no longer fly anything less than a business class for international competition. No more jamboree traveling, but we must scientifically look at the way we run our sports for high performance results. All right, I think that's the way forward. The program is Citizen Sports, reaching you from 93.7 FM with me, Emmanuel Fashimi. Still giving you stories from the Nigerian front, where Nigeria will on Thursday, that's tomorrow, launch their campaign for an 8th African Under-20 title when the Flying Eagles file out against the Junior Carthage Eagles of Tunisia at the 30th June Stadium in Cairo in the opening game of Group B. 40 years ago, the boys from Carthage were the victims as the Flying Eagles won the second of their 7 African titles in an era when the winner was decided over 2 legs, with both teams already qualified for the FIFA World Youth Championship, now FIFA Under-20 World Cup finals in then USSR. Nigeria forced a 1-1 draw with their host in Tunis and then won a close-fought return leg 2-1 at the National Stadium in Surulere, Lagos. 2 years ago, the Carthage Eagles are again bow out to the Eagles from West Africa in the third place match of the Under-20 AFCON, and also hosted by Egypt. It ended 4-0 against the North Africans. Head coach Aliou Zubairu and his charges understand that they must take it one match at a time as they aspire for glory, with cup holders Senegal, who had Group C, host Egypt, who had Group A, and 4-time winners Ghana in Group C, also in the hunt for honors. 4-time champions Egypt, winners in 1981, 1991, 2003 and 2013, already pocketed 3 points from their opening match against South Africa on Sunday, while Zambia and Sierra Leone fought themselves to a goalless draw. Ghana have their work cut out in Group C, where they must negotiate survival with title holder Senegal, a Central African Republic side that eliminated Cameroon, and the nifty Democratic Republic of Congo. Nigeria must be aware of their host nation, even though the Flying Eagles peeped the Egyptians 1-0 in a group phase match in Cairo 2 years ago. The only final matches Nigeria have lost since the competition transformed from home and away format to a tournament were against host nations Ghana in Accra in 1999 and against Congo Brazzaville 8 years later. On the reverse, Nigeria defeated host Senegal in the final in 2015. After Thursday's game with Junior Carthage Eagles, the 7-time champions will be up against host 1997 winners Morocco, also at the same venue, that is 30th June Stadium. Coach Aliou Zubairu is excited that his boys are riding on immense psychological wavelength after a 2-1 defeat of host nation Egypt in a friendly match at the Cairo International Stadium on Tuesday. That was last week Tuesday, barely 48 hours after the delegation arrived in in Cairo. According to Coach Aliou Zubairu, he said we will go for the maximum points against the Tunisians and then take it one step at a time as we forge ahead. Tarobo Arihi, who scored 3 goals at the Wafubi Under-20 Championship and netted the first goal against Egypt on Thursday. Germany-based Precious Benjamin and homeboys Clinton Jefta and Devine Olise are the key 4 men that Zubairu will be hoping to deliver against each and every opposition. Tunisia did not originally qualify for these finals but sneaked through after original host Cote d'Ivoire pulled the rug on the Confederation of African Football with only weeks to the opening match. All 4 semi-finalists at the tournament will represent Africa at the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Chile that will come up 27th September to 19th October 2025. If you want to make contributions on the program, the number to send your message is 0818-2222-205, 0818-2222-205, or you can call in 0903-2229-797 to make your contributions. And also, yes, the Champions League game tonight, another game, another big one between Barca and Inter Milan. Let's take this story before we'll go for a breather, and when we come back from that break, we'll be heading straight to Europe, where Super Eagles striker Victor Osimhen has led Nigerian football in celebration of Raymond Stars with a gesture benefiting the first ever Nigerian Premier Football League title win, gifting the team a total of 10 million naira, 5 million naira to the players and 5 million naira to the technical crew after placing a personal video call to the team. Head coach Daniel Ogumandede confirmed these to sportsmen that as their feat triggered an outpouring of tributes from the highest quarters. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu joined in lauding the feat, describing it as a testament to the hard work, discipline, and unyielding spirit of the players, the coaching crew, and the management. Tinubu further commended the vision of the club chairman, Kunle Siname, highlighting the impact of the investment in grassroots football and and urging Remo Stars to carry the nation's hopes into the CAF Champions League with the same undaunting spirit and focus. Ogun State Governor, on the other hand, Dapo Abiodun, also paid tribute, calling the triumph an unprecedented feat in the history of the state. In a statement signed by his media advisor, the governor said, "It is my utmost delight that the age-longing perseverance and consistency of Remo Stars football team have eventually paid off at the national level." And to the admiration of every Nigerian, he applauded the club and celebrated its emergence as the first privately owned MPFL champion since Ocean Boys in 2006. The Confederation of African Football hailed the victory as a moment of immense pride, not only for Remo Stars, but also for the entire Southwest region, which had not produced a league champion since Julius Berger's 2000 success. CAF affirmed that attention would not turn to Remo Stars' forthcoming participation in the Champions League. All right, let's go for this breather, and when we come back, we will head straight to Europe.
Hello, Abuja. You are listening to 93.7 Citizen FM, the latest radio station based in Nigeria's capital. Our station seeks to broadcast a broad mix of culture and views with priority given to development programming to enable residents share ideas and opinions, music and drama. At Citizen FM, we believe in progressive talk and solution-driven conversation. Our aim is to build a united Nigeria by bringing people of diverse culture together through communication. Enjoy listening to 93.7 Citizen FM. We are more than just a radio station. We are a part of your life.
Final, as were goal scorers Achraf Hakimi. Midfield is set in stone. Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz, and in attack with Kvaratskhelia and Dembele, who scored 24 goals. What a game on the way tonight, Gary. Can Paris Saint-Germain turn it on like they did against...
Yes, indeed. It was a night of champion. Yes, Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has admitted his team struggled in the opening 15 minutes of that game after their 1-0 defeat to Paris Saint-Germain. Tuesday night, Ousmane Dembele scored the only goal as PSG claimed a slim advantage in the UEFA Champions League semi-final first leg. Arteta, speaking in a post-match conference after the game, claimed they should have gotten a draw. At least he said disappointed with the result. We put so much into the game. We struggled in the first 10-15 minutes to get momentum and dominance. Disappointed not to get a draw. At least on Dembele's goal, Arteta added, that is always the danger. Credit to them. They get out of a situation that is close. We had 7 players behind the ball and they were clinical. Sometimes you just have to recognize the talent of the individual. Indeed, consequence, Dembele's goal made a difference last night in Emirates. All of you that sending your predictions, nobody got that. Gloria from Lagos, you said Arsenal was going to win 2-1, but it didn't go that way. Yes, on the other hand, PSG manager Luis Enrique has claimed that Arsenal have nothing to lose ahead of their Champions League semi-final second leg next week. Ousmane Dembele scored the only goal as Enrique's men secured a 1-0 victory at the Emirates Stadium on Tuesday night. The League One champions had already beaten Manchester City in the group stage. PSG then eliminated Liverpool on penalties in the round of 16 before knocking out Aston Villa in the quarterfinals. Following their win at Arsenal, Enrique said there was an incredible atmosphere inside the stadium. It was deafening, but we got off to a wonderful start and the early goal gave us a boost of confidence. It is a mission accomplished for this evening, but our objective is to win the second leg at home. With Arsenal, we cannot let our guard down or be complacent because they can score quickly and we are back to square one. Nothing is in the bag. We need to win when we are at home because Arsenal now have nothing to lose. Indeed, they have nothing to lose. They will be coming as the wounded lion. You can drop your WhatsApp messages on the number 0818-2222-205, 0818-2222-205. Or call the number 0903-222-9797. I know some Arsenal fans will be happy with this news, but let's see. Paris Saint-Germain manager has confirmed that forward Luis Enrique has confirmed that striker Ousmane Dembele picked up a minor hamstring injury during his side UEFA Champions League semi-final first leg win over Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium. According to Enrique, the France international is a doubt for the return leg against Arsenal next week Wednesday in Paris. Record that Dembele scored the only goal in the first leg to give PSG a slim advantage. The former Barcelona star was replaced midway through the second half by Bradley Barcola, but while Dembele didn't appear to be in any discomfort as he left the pitch, Enrique has not disclosed that the former Dortmund man might not play the second leg. Enrique said in his post-match conference, "I don't know anything. The medical test will take place. That is today. It's nothing serious. It's quite minor, but there's a doubt for the return match." The Spaniard added, "We are a real team. If Ousmane can play, that is good. If he doesn't, we'll see. If Ousmane can play, that is good. If he doesn't, we will see a team. Would you like help with headlines or for Martin for publications?" This is a funny manager, I tell you. Indeed, just as Arsenal fans were crying for the absence of Thomas Partey at the middle of the park, would that be the story of Ousmane Dembele in the return leg come next week in Paris? Former Arsenal players talking this morning. That is former England and Arsenal winger Theo Walcott has said PSG will be disappointed. They didn't score more goals against Arsenal. PSG beat the Gunners 1-0 in the first leg of their UEFA Champions League semi-final tie on Tuesday night. Ousmane Dembele scoring the winner at the Emirates Stadium as early as the 4th minute of action. The League One champions had more chances to score, but were let down by poor finishing and excellent saves from David Raya. Walcott believes the tie is not yet over as PSG were unable to leave North London with a bigger advantage. Arsenal still in the game. Walcott opined if it was 2-0, then it would potentially kill the tie. PSG will be disappointed. It's only one. The second leg will be played at the Parc des Princes come next week Wednesday. That is the night to decide who goes to the final. Yes, the other game tonight will be between Barcelona and Inter Milan at Camp Nou in Spain. Yes, let's look at this fantastic story. They say whenever they met, Lionel Messi would joke with Lautaro Martinez, asking if his Argentine teammate would be joining him at Barcelona. It was early 2020 and Barca were on the lookout for a replacement for Luis Suarez, with Martinez having become their top target for the following season. Messi was an integral part of the whole operation to lure the Inter Milan forward to Camp Nou. At some point, it looked like the deal was pretty much done, but then came the COVID-19 pandemic and suddenly it fell through. Martinez did not move from San Siro and 5 years on has made Inter his team, hitting at least 20 goals in each of the past 4 seasons and breaking one record after another. He is now the Nerazzurri's all-time leading scorer in the UEFA Champions League with 18 goals, becoming the first player to score in 5 consecutive matches for the team in the tournament, and he is currently only 1 goal away from equaling Hernan Crespo, 9 goals in 2002-2003 season as the club's top scorer in a single edition of the competition. That all has been enough to cement Lautaro's place among Inter's legends, but the 27-year-old is aiming for more as he heads to Camp Nou tonight to face Barcelona in the first leg of the UEFA Champions League finals. Not only does he want to win the only major trophy that he still lacks, but also prove that he deserves more recognition that he has received so far in his career. According to Lautaro, he says, sometimes I do feel underrated. Yes, he admitted to Italian newspaper Corriere della Sera after finishing in 7th position in the 2024 Ballon d'Or award. He is not alone in thinking that those who have known Martinez since his first steps in Argentine football with Linares and Racing share the same thought. If Lautaro did the same thing for Manchester United or Tottenham, he would be talked more. After all, it is the Premier League. They already reached the Champions League final against Manchester City in 2023 with him as one of their standout players, and yet he doesn't get the same spotlight that others do. What he did, for example, at last year's Copa America, being top scorer, was incredible. I think tonight the Barcelona defense will be wary of this man. Yes, let's get your prediction on our WhatsApp number 0818 222 0818 205. Make your prediction and win yourself a recharge voucher, or call in on the show before we go 0903 222 All of you that predicted the match between Arsenal and PSG, none came true. As Madam Pauline from Gwagwalada, you predicted Arsenal winning that game 2-0. Glory from Lagos said Arsenal will also win 2-1. So let's get your prediction. The game between Inter and Barcelona tonight. Who wins that game? Chioma from Abuja predicted PSG 2-1 against Arsenal. Yes, teenage star Lamine Yamal says he's focused on his own game rather than comparison with Lionel Messi as Barcelona aim to reach their first Champions League final for a decade. Barcelona have not reached the showpiece event since they last won the title in 2015 with a team spearheaded by Messi. They face Inter Milan in the first leg of their semi-final game tonight. Barca's first appearance at this stage since 2019, again when they had Messi in their side. The game at Camp Nou is set to go ahead as normal despite the nationwide power cuts affecting Spain on Monday and Tuesday. Barcelona training and media conference went ahead as normal, while UEFA spokesperson told the sportsmen that there is no impact on Wednesday game. At the present, the Barcelona star will feature the Barcelona attack will feature Yamal on the right flank. The position played by Messi for the Spanish side with distinction for years. However, Yamal, speaking at the media conference on Tuesday, rejected comparison with his fellow graduate of the club's La Masia Academy. He said, I don't compare myself to him because I don't compare myself to anyone, and much less with Messi. Yamal told reporters while also describing the Argentine as the best player in history. I don't think the comparison makes sense with Messi. Even less, I'm going to enjoy myself and be myself. Yamal is already a European champion with Spain, while he will make his 100th Barcelona appearance should he feature against Inter Milan today. Definitely, he will be featuring. He picked up another trophy at the weekend, setting up 2 goals as Barca beat Real Madrid 3-2 in the Copa del Rey final on Saturday. Barcelona coach Hansi Flick said the euphoria from beating Madrid could help his side. Another news for Barcelona fan is that Hansi Flick says Wojciech Szczesny would continue in goal against Inter Milan tonight despite the return to fitness of first-choice goalkeeper Marc-Andre ter Stegen after a long injury layoff. That game comes up tonight, 8 p.m. Nigerian time. Barcelona versus Inter. Drop your prediction on the WhatsApp number 0818-222205, and definitely we'll be reading out all of the prediction. Whoever wins, who wins that game tonight, if you get it right at the scoreline, your name, location, and the scoreline of the game, and you win yourself a recharge voucher. right, let's go now to the Nigerian Women's Football League, where it is March the 14th. Yes, as the curtain prepares to fall on the 2024-2025 season, Nigerian Women's Football League high drama is expected across the country today, while 5 teams have already booked their places in the highly anticipated Super 6 playoff. The race for the final spot and the fight to avoid relegation would be decided in an intense final round of fixtures on March the 14th. That is today. At the heart of the battle for the 6th and final place slot are 2 teams, Nigeria Tales of the FCT and FC Robo Queens. Both teams now know that destiny may not entirely lie in their hands, especially with tough opponents standing in their way. Meanwhile, at the foot of the table, Heartland Queens and Confluence Queens are scrabbling to avoid the drop, that is relegation, adding even more weight to what will be a season-defining weekend. Here is, and we'll look at all of the games in Group A and Group B. Edo Queens may have booked their unbeaten streak snapped last week by Nasarawa Amazons, but the reigning champions entered March day 14 with their playoff tickets secured with 10 points, 2 draws, and just 1 loss this season. The Queens from Benin remain one of the strongest title contenders heading into the postseason. Conference Queens, however, have everything to play for, languishing near the bottom of the table. They must not only pull off a near impossible win in Benin, a venue where few have succeeded, but also hope that Heartland Queens falter at home. It is a daunting task, especially against a side that has beaten them 5 times in their last 8 meetings. A victory for Kogi-based side could still mean survival, but the odds are stacked against them unless result elsewhere go their way. Ekiti Queens, on the other hand, will battle Abial Angels. 2 sides with little more than pride to play for will face off in Ado Ekiti. Ekiti Queens winless in 8 straight games will be desperate to end the season on a positive note and avoid finishing at the bottom of the table. Abia Angels, who saw their playoff hopes ended last week with a 2-2 draw, where Remo Stars ladies have shown significant growth since their opening day 5-0 defeat to Edo Queens. With 7 wins under their belt this season, coach and Dana Waneri side can look ahead with optimism, but a final win on the road will add a welcome shine to their campaign. The Angels won the reverse fixture 1-0 and will fancy their chances again. The other game, Heartland Queens versus Nasarawa Amazons at the Dan Ayam Stadium in Owerri. Heartland Queens are facing a must-win situation to avoid relegation, a far cry from their 2023-2024 season, which saw them qualify for the playoffs for the first time in their history. Obi Ogbala's side has struggled all season and they now sit on the brink of returning to the second tier unless they can take all 3 points at the Dan Ayam Stadium. Their opponents, Nasarawa Amazons, are flying high, currently on a 6-match unbeaten streak, having already secured a playoff place. The Solid Babes will look to keep their momentum going ahead of the Super 6. Statistically, Nasarawa Amazons have the edge in this fixture with 2 wins and 2 draws in their last 4 matches. Heartland must find a way to win to break that trend or face the prospect of relegation. The other big game in the Southwest Derby, Remo Stars ladies will host Danas Ladies of Lagos at the Remo Stars Stadium in Ikenne, Ogun State. This is all Southwest Derby. It's one of the few fixtures with no bearing on either playoffs or relegation, but it still holds significance for both teams looking to end on a high. Remo Stars ladies in their second season in the top flight have been one of the league's most improved side with 8 wins, already surpassing last season total. They will aim to complete a double over Danas ladies who they beat 2-0 in Lagos earlier this season. Danas meanwhile finally ended a 10-match winless run with a win over Heartland Queens last week. They will hope to build on that result, but they will need to be at their best to match Remo's intensity in Ikenne. In Group B, Rivers Angels will face already relegated Benue Queens, and then we have Adamawa Queens versus Ibom Angels, with Nigeria Test of Abuja versus Bayelsa Queens. That game will be played at the Ratiri Playground here in Abuja, and that game is a must-win one for Nigeria Test if they really want to play in the Super 6. And the other game is between FC Robo Queens and Delta Queens of Lagos at the Legacy Pitch in Lagos. All right, this is where we'll be leaving it on Citizen Sports this morning with me, Emmanuel Fashemi. This show returns tomorrow. Just make your prediction 0818 222205 for the game between Barca and Inter Milan, and we'll be taking all of your prediction on the show tomorrow. Thanks for listening. I am out of the studio. The next is Inside with Lawrence Omoite.
Hello, Abuja. You are listening to 93.